Hey friends, this is Caitlin here. I am a music educator, a homeschooling mom, and I've been teaching my own kids for 4 years here at our house. And I have been giving music lessons since I was 16, so however many years that is, it's been a lot. I have been noticing a lot of people interested in at least exploring what homeschooling options are out there and seeing if homeschooling would be a good fit for their family for this year. And so I decided to make a series of videos just showing you what I use. And that doesn't mean it's the only option, but it gives you a chance to at least see inside of a book and see what every curriculum actually is. When I was first starting out in our homeschooling journey, it was really hard to decide like what is going to fit for our kids because there's so much. Will it match my kids' learning style? Will it match my teaching style? Is it going to, align with what I think my kids need to be learning? Is it going to take up way too much time? What is it going to be like? So I was fortunate enough to be connected with a lot of other homeschoolers, and they were able to show me, like, this is what we use. And I could say, oh, okay, that's going to be great. Or that is not going to fit for our family. So in these videos, I'm just hoping that I can provide that same service for you viewers so that you can just see some of the options that are out there. Before I get into it, today I'm just going to look at a geography curriculum. This will be a pretty short video, but I did want to say I find most of my books online. You can get some at like United Art and Education, which is a good place to thumb through some books, but I can usually find things on Amazon, christianbooks.com, or the actual, like the publisher's website, and also Thrift Books is a good place for especially textbooks or teacher manuals that are workbooks that are going to have writing in them. So, geography curriculum. This is something I don't start till first grade. I would argue that it's not necessarily something that you have to teach your kid. If you say in your history you are going to do a lot of map reading, or when you're out and about you're going to be really good at talking about directions and that kind of thing with your kid, then you can totally get away without a geography curriculum. I like to cover all my bases, so I opt to have more than I need, and I just try to make them things that are easy, that I don't have to prep for, that I could just pull out that morning and say, hey, we're going to do page 10, and it's all laid out for me. And if it's something my kid can figure out and just independently do, that's even better. And so I have found Evan Moore to be a really great resource for that kind of curriculum. I don't use them for everything, but especially for things like geography, they're perfect. This is the first grade book. It's not super thick, but it will teach map reading skills from many different angles, which is a good thing. Teaches some spatial reasoning. We'll cover things like north, south, east, west, compass roses, that kind of thing in first grade, and it's not painful. So this one, the first grade, it's a really colorful book. The third grade that I have is not, but that's okay. It's still fun. So this starts out very simply. What is a map? Most books like this have to start out assuming that the student has never seen a map, just so they can cover all their bases. So sometimes you can skip through some of these early things if your kid already knows it. So it talks about what is a map. A map is a drawing of a place from above, so it points out really good viewpoint things. And so it talks about what is a map, and then it actually shows you like the map of a bedroom. So it covers things that aren't just like the map of the world, which can be a little bit abstract for a first grader. It's probably not something a first grader is going to be thinking a lot about on their own, but instead they take it into your house and they have you make your child make a map of their room, or In some other grades, I've seen they need to make a map of their classroom or whatever it is. So yeah, this one actually has some things you can cut out, and then you can come over here and you can glue them on to create the map of your room or whatever it might look like. So this is very activity based, which makes it really fun, but you're also learning stuff. So here we have introducing us to a compass rose, north, south, east, west, and the abbreviations for north, south, east, west. Over here, this person is thinking, oh, north is up, south is down, east is to the right, west is to the left. So it puts it into a child's perspective. And then you do map reading skills. The rest of the book is every week you get a new map, and then there are just like questions and activities based off of that map for the week to help your child really think about whatever the particular aspect of the map that you're supposed to be learning that week is. So here it's draw a picture of the animal east of the lions, draw a picture of the animal south of the lions. So you're using the map terminology as well and just getting comfortable with it. You do eventually go into a globe, and you're going to do similar things, talks about continents, bodies of water. Don't expect that your child is going to have memorized the continents and the names of the oceans. That's something that you're going to want to cover with spiral learning, so you keep coming back to it. But they're being introduced to it, and it's not going to be a unknown term at the very least. And then it does cover kind of, let's see, let me get back here to here. So here we're introduced to the map of the United States, and then they zoom in just on Texas, and they use Texas to teach you about state lines on a map, capitals and cities and the symbols that we use. Let's see what else. This covers physical systems, so it talks about volcanoes, waterfalls, oceans, finding those on the map. And then it will go through and cover different states. This one talks a little bit about community helpers. So you're kind of getting a little bit of a mix of topics, but like I said, I think it covers a good deal of map reading skills, and it makes it fun. So here you're going to learn about farms and different ecosystems and a little bit about different regions of the United States and that kind of thing. So that's first grade. Last year I did second grade with my son, and this year we're going to do third grade. His book is, I have a slightly different version. This is called Daily Geography Practice, and this is called Skill Sharpeners, and there is a little bit of a difference in the just the appearance of the book. I've noticed with some of the other books that I have from Evan Moore, if it's a skill sharpener, it's more brightly colored, and it's more like just doing activities, learning through activities. These are a little more cut and dry, but it's at an appropriate age to be a little more cut and dry for my third grader. So it's going to be kind of the same. Over here there's a nice bit here for the teacher. It's like, teacher, you should read this so that you know what you're talking about before you try to tell your kid what it is. And then there's different vocabulary. So you're going to learn what, I know you can't read that, but you're going to learn what continents, the equator of the globe, North Pole, oceans, South Pole. And then you see a globe, there's an equator line, you're going to learn about different things. And then there are questions, there are 2 questions for every day of the week. And then there's a challenge at the end. And those questions are asking you about this picture beforehand. So what I have found is that just like the first grade curriculum, it can start with a lot of review. And so sometimes I'll just kind of do like an informal placement test, like, can you tell me what an equator is? Can you point to the most southern part of the globe? You know, that kind of thing. And if my child can answer all those questions, then we're not going to spend a whole week on what you already know. We're going to keep moving forward. I think it's really important to keep a child like in a happy middle ground. Don't give them stuff that's so easy that it's not challenging. Don't give them stuff that's so challenging that it's frustrating. You got to try to find where that middle ground is. And if that means that you skip 3 lessons before you actually get into something challenging, that's great. That just means your child is well-rounded and knows a lot. Then as you go through, you get different kinds of maps. So this is more like a street view map, and it's going to ask, on the next page, it's going to ask you questions like, what is on Beach Road? Or which road is the taco shack on? And so there's some kind of intricate things that you have to figure out before you're able to answer that question. Like, you have to know that your building or your house, it is on the road that the driveway spits out onto. It's not on any other road around it. And so you're actually learning some really useful life skills as you go through it. But again, it's in a fun way, and it's not in like a really painful way. This is a map grid, and so you'll have to, on the next pages, you'll have to say like which grid is the playground equipment in, or whatever. So yeah, it covers a lot of different kinds of maps, and you'll get into states and stuff as well. Learn what the symbol for rivers are, state borders, state capitals, reviewing what state cities look like. And then there's also always a little bit of information about those states. Like for California, it'll talk about what the Golden Gate Bridge is, and it might talk about like different volcanoes or what redwood trees are. So you do get some extra information in there. So this is my recommendation for geography. It's by Evan Moore. I found these particular books this year on christianbook.com. Actually, this one I bought 2 years ago from a friend who was selling it. This one I found from christianbooks.com. And they were doing a really good sale, so it's always nice to save a little money on curriculum. So that's geography. Again, it's kind of an optional topic, but I do, as you saw, you do learn some really good, useful skills that you need in real life. So that's what my recommendation is. Hope that was helpful for you. And if you are looking for some kind of musical outlet for your kids this year, as a lot of things are closed down, or we have to be creative about how we get extracurriculars into our kids. If you're interested in a musical aspect, check out CaitlinandPeter.com for some music options for guitar, piano, and violin, and you might find some extra topics there that you can introduce into your kids' school year for this year.